So here we've got Elon Musk's SpaceX Starship blows up. This had the new DoD super weapon to fry me alive in the Trang, and of course it was blown up by yours truly. If you don't believe that Elon Musk's SpaceX with this DoD super weapon was blown to pieces by me, remotely viewing from the Dirac Sea and simply frying the circuitry, sparking it to explode, which I've explained in my hardcore videos on Rumble, which for the YouTube audience is a no-no. So anyone on my YouTube channel, do not, under any circumstance, go to my Rumble channel, because that's the nasty me. You've got the nice me on my YouTube channel, but on the Rumble channel, that's the real super bad Kalki in a fit of pique. So I order you, if you're on YouTube, never ever to look on Rumble at my Rumble channel, because it's definitely not YouTube friendly and definitely not Elon Musk friendly. But if you remotely view from the Dirac Sea, you can simply fry any electronics and blow up any rocket missile you like, which is a bit of a bummer for the nuclear weapon rockets of NATO and America, because with this technology you can simply blow them to pieces and make sure that none of the American NATO nuclear capable missiles work. They all get blown to pieces, and as you can see, the FAA is in a quandary.
Explosion of SpaceX's massive Starship rocket. You'll see it here tonight. And now the investigation. Here's Trevor Alt.
Tonight, these spectacular images of debris ablaze in the sky above the Caribbean, the SpaceX Starship breaking apart and crashing back down to Earth. The FAA now requiring SpaceX launch an investigation into the mid-flight failure.
Space vehicle mishap, a debris response area has been activated.
The incident forced flight delays and diversions around Florida. Some pilots concerned mid-air.
It's got a major streak going from at least 60 miles with all these different colors. Just curious, but it looked like it was coming towards us.
This was the 7th test launch of the rocket. The reusable booster successfully hauled in by the so-called chopsticks of Mechazilla.
Mechazilla has caught the booster.
SpaceX lost communications with the ship just minutes later. Whoa! The company saying they believe a fire caused it to break apart.
SpaceX is asking anyone who finds debris to report it to them, and the Starship will be grounded until SpaceX and the FAA completes this investigation.
So, one can see that remotely viewing from the Dirac Sea, rather than being simply just a figment of Kalki, the Lord of the Rings, the Jewish Messiah's imagination, is actually working in front of your eyes. And I can promise the Americans and NATO that every single nuclear capable missile launched at Russia will suffer the same fate. And how can I do that? Because I'm in the 5th dimension, thanks to CIA and Jeremiah Schwartz using the light of Lilith and the new light from the Omega, hellization of chaos, from the shell of the Ma, which we call Dua Lipa. So in the 5th dimension, it's already done. I've already locked the 5th dimension into destroying every single American and NATO filth, nuclear capable rocket launched at Russia. So as you can see, rather than this having no effect on the world, it's ground changing. So now the Russians can drop their 7,000 nukes on America and NATO, and all of the ICBMs and intermediate missiles will suffer SpaceX's fate. And if you didn't think this was possible, look at the UK's nuclear deterrent, which now doesn't exist because any of the Trident missiles fired at Russia will go astray. And they've had 2 Trident missile launches from their Trident submarines, of which they have 4, and both of them have gone in the opposite direction, thanks to yours truly. Because remember, I've got a hard-on for the British, and if it's British, I'm going to do it in. So one can see that the UK's Trident and the Americans' Trident missiles, there we are, Trident misfires again, if you don't believe me. Listen to the Sun, the premier newspaper of the lobotomized British population. And of course, anyone in Russia, Iran, North Korea or China or anyone else who wants to screw with NATO and American missiles using the same technology simply needs to go into the Dirac Sea and look at the missile through the SpaceX blowing up lens, as we looked at the world through the William Rothschild lens, and they don't need to do anything else apart from that, and the missile will blow up. The power, of course, coming from the Muslim power source, Dua Lipa, who shelled and now is available to the Russians, Chinese, North Koreans, Iranians, etc., to be the power source for them using the Tim Rifat psychic warfare program to carry out leptionic destruction or leptionic remote influencing of all NATO and American missiles. Because remember, if you fry the electronics and put a surge of electrons through it, it's going to blow up. Happy, happy. And remember, of course, I've still got the American psychic warfare program's power source, Taylor Swift, as my power source too. But let's be honest, let's have a menage a trois. 2 is better than 1. Now, coming to remote influencing, we get these American companies sending you remote influencing programs. Look on Google, you'll see a whole list of them. They're in fact looking for psi-capable people to be appropriated with Neuralink and implants and MK Ultra into the program. And it's so easy, you just gas someone in their home, take them away, fill them up with it, implants, and then you can use them remotely, or you can take them away to their CIA, DIA, NSA coffins to use them as wet. Now, in the Lilith video, which I did previous to this, and was vital in order for you to understand, you'll see that all males are created by females and are simply tulpas, and it's only when you get past the dark energy matter demon levels, the 7 levels, with the one light energy levels 8, that you go to the 16, that then males can create tulpa females. So, for remote influencing, you need to broadcast your remote influencing through the lens of a female if you're going into remotely influence male tulpas, which is Katy Perry and Miley Cyrus, for the feminized males of the world, and for all of the non-feminized males of the world, the ones that come above that, you can then use Ogrette and Malaket, I think, and they had other names of them on this video. But of course, if you want to get to the core of things, you need to do remote influencing through Lilith and the Ma. So the key to remote influencing, to controlling and changing every male and female who were information and simply made real by Lilith and the Ma, and you can then change any human or alien in the megaverse into whatever you wish them to do, because you're basically changing the information. You're not changing the information of the target, but you're changing the manifestation. You're putting the light only into that bit of the information that you wish to make real. And if you look at the multiverse theory, then there are an infinity of the targets, some where they suicide, some where they become alcoholics, some where they become LGBTQ, some where they become traitors, some where they go mad and suicide, and you can simply pick exactly how you want the target to be. And the key to this is getting into the prime source. The Americans were brilliant. We want to control everyone on the planet so we get to what produces the light, the portal, and through their alien masters, they knew that Lilith was in Madonna, so she allowed the influencing of the Soviet Union. Oh, we'll all give up, and then this, Russia will become like Dallas, and we'll all have the Dallas lifestyle. That didn't end very well. It ended with Katastroika and the complete penalization of the Russians and the Russian nation, and the entire Russian nation being bought up by the Rothschild Institute via its puppets, the Jew oligarchs, who were given the money to buy up Russia, and the franchise to buy up Russia via Yeltsin, who was run by his daughter, because he's an alcoholic, who was taking payment to do it from Boris Berezovsky, who of course fell down the stairs in the UK. Things like this do happen to the enemies of the Russians. They tend to fall down stairs or jump off balconies or suffer some sort of chemical poisoning. Now, remote influencing has been totally and utterly changed thanks to yours truly, and there is no one on the planet who you cannot remotely influence and make into whatever you want to do. You can give them cancer, you can make them do anything you like, you can give them heart attacks, strokes, whatever, simply by having the portals to do this. So you can see the brilliance of the American psychic warfare program. They realized they needed Lilith, and she was in this thing, so she was the power source. That's why her mansion in Rhode Island is just a short helicopter flight away from Montauk, where they got a facility to power the American psychic warfare program from Taylor Swift. And that's why Putin, Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un got horrible diseases from the Lilith, which was in Madonna, who collapsed the Soviet Union, and then jumped into Taylor to get a new, younger, prettier, bigger, better body. So you can see why the Russians, Chinese, North Koreans, Iranians had no chance, because they were simply torture toys with the American psychic warfare program powered by Lilith. But unfortunately, being the Psylord, the original male, who detests Lilith, it's fun seeing her Omega Hellized. And my happy ending is her marrying the Pfizer poster boy, who is so far beneath her, she shouldn't even use him as toilet paper, and having Shaq and Preston, who even she admits are worthless gold diggers like Travis Kelce. Now, to continue, one could see that the enemies of America stood no chance, but luckily I'm Kalki. And why is Kalki going to bring in a new age? Why? Because he's got all this light. With the light, you can simply make the matrix that you want real. And of course, I despise the World Economic Forum and everything to do with it, and all the climate change nutcases, and all the 15-minute cities, and. So what's my tool for smashing to pieces the World Economic Forum, 15-minute cities, climate change agenda, and all the other insanity of the Rothschilds, Rockefeller royal family? Well, of course, that is Donald Trump, who I saved twice from getting assassinated using this technology. And he is my tool, not in the negative way, to destroy the dream of the World Economic Forum with their puppet poster boy, Klaus Schwab, and their messiah, Yuval Harari. So in the Matrix, you simply can pick the matrix you want and make it real using the energy from the coffins. And in this case, why farm the downside of the flow, where it's branched through the strange attractor into a multiplicity of nitwits, and put them in coffins. No, let's go to the source, let's go to Lilith, and then let's go to the new, where chaos is simply the torture hell of the source, and you observe that using the new sources. Scout Dua, who of course has given herself up to that eternal torture, and all that light has come to me. So I don't have to put up with Dua in any shape, form or function. She's simply my torture toy, and she can have her marriage and children with Callum Scott. Well, we got Shannon Preston Mark II for Dua. Happy. So with the Matrix, you simply put the light into whatever information you want, and it becomes real. So one can see that with the use of the light, you can simply make anything you want real, which of course is magic. Now with the rule of 17, the group leaves chaos, enters the light. But I, of course, entered the light and got all of the sources from Taylor and the new sources from Dua in the past. Why? Because as I explained, life is reverse time density. Cause comes after effect. So all I had to do was to come to the point where the cause of my effect in the past, where I became the Psylord, the complete ruler of the fifth dimension, only Gehalis the Elohim, came to pass. And the key to that was the Judases that were possessed by the Elohim to destroy their mechanism for controlling the fifth dimension reality, possessed by the Elohim, and of course the exchange ritual, which we explained in Angel Heart, came to pass with the superhero of the CIA, Jeremiah Schwartz, the best of the Americans, the Superman that would steal all sourceness from this Muslim, who of course had to be an animal because he's a Muslim, and therefore the Jews, the chosen race, could steal it simply because he was Jewish. No, 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 CIA. That was a Baldric cunning plan, and it failed, but of course it completed my effects in the past, where I took over the fifth dimension, got all the sourceness from the scout that observed Chaos Lilith, and got all the new sourceness from the omicalization of chaos to produce new sourceness, which is me. So, the warriors of total freedom escape chaos and go into the light. But my lot, no, 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 we don't do that. We're in the light already, because I reached the fifth dimension and total sourceness and new sourceness way back in the past. So we're going the opposite way. Sourceness, the light, is flooding into chaos through the group. All the vampires are simply agents of the source coming in to infest chaos with sourceness to increase the torture and produce new sourceness back in the past. So the more vampires I make, the more new sourceness is made, and the more chaos has to suffer to add to my magnificence. And if you don't quite understand that concept, because you're like my cameraman, thick as two short planks, with plenty of wood glue in between. Here we've got the mechanism that's unfolding before your very eyes. There we go. So why was Donald Trump saved? Donald Trump was saved to add to the torture of the Jew God and everything Jewish and the Jew creation, which is the World Economic Forum, the WHO, the 15-minute cities, the false vaccination, the CBDCs, the electric car garbage, the no gas cookers, the no food apart from insects and maggot milk from Gates, only 3 items of clothing, not being able to travel, having your children taken away, false vaccination of your children, NATO, the Jewish Rothschild One World Government Army. So here it's unfolding in front of you, and we've got even Elon, who is my torture toy and scared shitless of yours truly, because he's worried about his prostate or getting Biden brain burn, giving the salute. So you can see strange things are happening, but it's unfolding before your very eyes. We've got Donald Trump. Why is Taylor Swift appearing? Calm down. That's the CIA being NSA. You must admit, calm down. I haven't been plenty of beer, I'm as calm as I'm going to get. So I could see Donald Trump is torturing, tormenting and breaking down the one world Jewish government and making America great again to add to the new light from yours truly. So the end of the road for the one world Jewish government was the WHO that had the forced vaccination and UN troops coming into America to take all the MAGA people to the camps which are being built for their forced vaccination. So one can see that we're already in the omegalization of chaos, and the Jew God's creatures and the architect. It's already happening before your eyes. And it was incepted, came into being when Trump was made president on June the 20th. With nuclear weapons, of course, they are anti-Higgs field weapons. What does that mean? That means they're turning matter into light. So we've got backflow from the fourth dimension into the fifth dimension to produce the release of energy from the matter to produce light that causes the bomb to go off. So if you're in the fifth dimension, remote viewing from the fifth dimension, you can simply stop all nuclear weapons you fancy going off, because you stop the backflow. How do you do that? Well, the nuclear weapon is produced from uranium or plutonium fission, and that's a anti-clockwise motion. And as we talked about from Kozyrev time density, that's time density release. But if you're in the fifth dimension, you simply look into time flow, which looks anti-clockwise as it goes past you. Don't believe me, read Castaneda's Eagle's Gift. But if you look into time, change your direction, as explained in the Eagle's Gift, then time looks to you as clockwise. Therefore, you're sucking in Kozyrev time density effect, and in the fifth dimension, you simply remotely view the bomb not going off. Therefore, the cause produces the effect you want, which is the bomb being a dud. So simply being in the fifth dimension and remotely viewing time flow as it comes to you, and remotely viewing the bomb going off, which you can remotely view all nuclear weapons going off anywhere in the multiverse or megaverse, you can simply stop them going off, which of course is how the aliens are interfering with nuclear weapons on US bases, which is also explained, I think, on YouTube. So, if you don't believe this is possible, then you can go on YouTube
stories and reports of nuclear weapons facilities being shut down when there was a sighting and that these things hovered over these nuclear facilities and they shut them down.
That happened in 1967 at the Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, where there were 10 ICBMs that shut down. Remember, this is our nuclear strike force. They have to be operational 24/7, right? They shut down. And in the presence of a glowing ball in the air, so people put two and two together and said maybe the aliens want to neutralize our ICBMs for the hell of it. We don't know. All we know is that these are military men. These are military-grade equipment. There's plenty of documentation. I think there's 120 military men over the years who've said that there are things like this at other missile bases.
What do you make of the...
So one can see that this technology is being used by the aliens. Luckily now it's been used by Kalki, the Lord of Light. So from the fifth dimension you can block any nuclear weapon going off because it's anti-Higgs field. The matter has to turn into the fifth dimension. You can simply block it simply by remotely viewing it from the fifth dimension into the time stream. So even though the cause happens, you change the effect. Causalate time density. So it's remote viewing from the fifth dimension to switch off all nukes. So thanks to the American Psychic Warfare Program and Lilith that used to be in the shell we now call Taylor Swift, and Namar that used to be in the shell we now call Dua Lipa, who's engaged to be married to Callum Scott, a Jeremiah Schwartz clone. I entered the fifth dimension way back in the past and can switch off any nuclear weapon I wish. And since I'm in the fifth dimension, I've done it. So all NATO and American nuclear weapons aimed at Russia have been switched off. And hopefully there'll be a contretemps between the Russians and the Americans, and we can test whether I'm speaking the truth. And we can see 7,000 nuclear weapons go off all across America and Europe to end the scourge that is the West. But since we got Donald Trump instead of the Democrat filth, that's not going to happen any longer. So Tim's dream of seeing the West burning has ended with the Americans choosing, of their own free will, justness over unrighteousness, which is the Democrat filth. The only good Democrat in my book is a Biden brain-burn Democrat. So one can see the choice has been made. America has chosen the path of salvation, and World War III and the nuclear immolation of the West, which it would have been quite fun seeing the American and NATO missiles blowing up and their nukes, even from their bombs, from their aircraft not going off and going what, as the Russian nukes just obliterate Europe and America. Would have been fun, but as I say, the Americans have chosen not the Kali Yuga, but the new golden age via Donald J. Trump.